Now you get to the point where you've turned your life around and you want to do something different. What is like the first thing do you do? Do you get a job?
Yeah, so I got a job. I was working for a refrigeration company, and they hired ex-felons, parolees, but I didn't have my mind right. I wasn't ready for that, to be at work at 6 o'clock in the morning. I get there 6:05, 6:15. I felt entitled, and, that became a problem. And there was a guy in there who used to always tell us, man, y'all gonna get fired. Don't let Bill Hunter see you. And, at some point I said, man, fuck Bill Hunter. I didn't want this. I bought a truck, got some equipment on the back of my truck, and I started driving tow trucks, becoming my own boss. That way, if I don't work, I don't eat. And I knew then that was best for me. And now, all of a sudden, I used to hate getting up in the morning, but now I'm getting up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning driving this tow truck. I didn't mind because I would see my rewards that day. The first week of me driving a tow truck, I made $1,100. And I said, oh, this is close to drug money. It's legal. I don't have to run for the police. But later on, I found I did have to run from the police because I had to have certain licenses, had to, go to the police commission office downtown. There were certain police officers that would run everybody's name in the morning, like, like a gang unit, except it was for tow trucks.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
it became an issue, but it's still, that's what I did all the way until 2005, 2006. That's when I quit.
Oh, with the tow trucks.
Yeah.
Oh, so you did it for a while.
Yeah, I did it for a while. I became one of the most requested tow truck driver. I towed for Denzel Washington, the Moving Training Day. I'm the one who put the 7 Monte Carlos together. I used to tow for Brandy. I used to tow for Floyd Mayweather, all the different celebrities, Master P. I used to work for a company called 310 Motoring, 310 Motoring. And we did all the Cash Money videos, everything for Baby and his brother Slim. So, I became one of the most requested tow truck driver. But I felt like something was missing. I felt like I was, my kids were growing up in the same community and they were wearing the same colors and doing the same thing. And I just felt like it wasn't, chasing money wasn't what I was here to do. I had beat a life sentence in 1998. So I knew that I had a purpose, and I don't know what the purpose was, but I knew it wasn't to drive a tow truck.
In 1998, you beat a life sentence. Man,
I'm facing 2 life sentences in 6 years. I'm in LA County Jail. My father died. I went to the hole. I'm doing time in the hole. Can't talk to my family. And I just got to praying to God, if you let me out, I'm going to change my life, everything. I'm going to turn it around, this and that. And when I got a hung jury and I got an acquittal on one, I went home and jumped in a tow truck. That's when I started working with 310, and I thought that was my life, to drive to Georgia, drive to Detroit, take Paul Pierce's car. Him and his father was in Boston, so I'm thinking, I used to tow for BMF, for them guys. They have issues. I go get the vans and wherever they break down at, and I'm not asking no questions, just, doing whatever I'm asked to do. Where am I taking it to? So that was my life, being on the freeway with all these cars. But at some point, I said, this is not, it's not self-fulfilling, it's not rewarding, it's not answering the call that I told God I would do.
That must have been rough. I mean, facing a life sentence, man. What all happened that had you in that situation?
Well, just the fact that I had long hair and glasses, and the people that got shot said, oh, that was Skip, and the police like, oh yeah, the skinny dude with the glasses. So it was another situation where I did so many things wrong, but I was like, yeah, but I didn't do this one. I've done a lot wrong, but I said, this one isn't me. But, so I sat there just thinking to myself, is this payback for all the other things I've done? But I was like, nah, I got to get up out of here.
How long were you fighting it?
I fought it for a whole year. So it happened in 1995, and I got arrested in January 1998, and I was released November 98. So I was at 11 months.
What was the trial like?
The trial was horrible because there was a guy who was an ex-fire captain, had a thick mustache. He looked like a motorcycle cop, and I didn't want him on the jury at all. But there was another lady, and I call her the yes lady, because any question they asked her, they said, yes, that's okay, yes. And they said, well, we can finish today by 2, 3 o'clock, or we can get started Monday. Everybody, do you want to start today or Monday? And everybody said, start today, or we'll start Monday. And got to this lady, and she said, yes, it's okay. And I'm like, man, I got to get rid of her. She's going to say yes to everything. So I got rid of her and kept the guy with the thick mustache, and he was one of the main components of helping me get out. He said they didn't have enough evidence. He was looking for that aha moment. He never felt it. And I was like, damn. And just by the way he looks and the fact that he was a fire captain, I was ready to kick him off. Yeah, so shit, when I got found, when I got acquittal, not guilty on 2 charges, shit, he started crying.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was like, man, that was it was something special. And that's the second time I put my mother through that. The first time is when I went to jail for the drugs out of state. So my mother's in court, and she runs out crying. So yeah, I knew that I'm really messing up, man. I'm tearing down my family.
Yeah. Well, man, that's big.
Yeah.
That's a good thing you ended up beating that, and
Right.
everything worked out for you. Definitely, man. What was hip hop like during those times?
Oh man, that was crazy.
Or even in like the 80s.
Oh, so shit, hip hop in the 80s was man, it's super rhymes. We had all the New York stuff. We was Curtis Blow, all that. Won the Christmas raps and basketball and Run DMC, Peter Piper, whatever that song was. So it was really good back then. And I think all we had out here was Ice-T until I got out in '88, and that's when I heard about NWA and started listening to Ice Cube and all them, and rap totally changed. For 90, 91, Ice Cube and WA and E40 and Short, Too Short, all that. But in 1998 is when Dr. Dre decided to get back with Snoop and them, when Snoop was with Master P, and then when that whole Death Row thing was kind of fading away, and all them songs that they made with Nate Dogg and all that, hip hop was on again, for the West Coast at least, because it had moved down south. And even though it kind of stayed, Ludacris started bumping, everything was going good for Ludacris back then too. And Missy Elliott was a dope writer, and everything started coming full circle, but for everybody.
Were you out when the movie Colors came out?
Yes, I just got out. That was 88.
88.
Yeah.
I've heard stories about the song Colors,
Right.
clubs being torn up over
Right.
fights and people fighting. Did you ever see anything like that?
Well, I never went to clubs. As Bloods, we low key, because anytime we go to a club, it's predominantly Crips. But it definitely was an inspiration. It was a boost. It was, it helped keep shit going. I could tell you that, because like I say, now we feel invincible. Like, oh, they know about us. Well, we about to show them who we are. So it wasn't really clubs, but movie theaters. So back then, the first black movie theater was on La Brea and Coliseum in the jungles. And it showed Colors. And if you wasn't a Blood, you could not go to that movie theater. Just without a doubt. Bloods inside, Bloods outside, Bloods coming from everywhere. So, it was like really a inspiration for, I can only speak for the Bloods. I can't speak for how the Crips felt about it, but.
That was the movie theater where all the Bloods would go watch the movie.
Yeah.
I take it.
Right.
Okay.
But I know that the guys who were instrumental in that was from 8-9 East Coast, the jailhouse scene. They had real Crips in the jailhouse scene, but they didn't have real Bloods at first, so that made a difference too when we don't get to see our people. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those are actors. The Bloods was actors in there, but they had real Crips. And
You're talking about the scene where it's like Crips on one side and the Bloods on the other side?
Right.
Okay.
I think it was Don Cheadle. He went in there and he was with one of the Crips. So, that was one of the things too, like, man, the way that they portrayed the Bloods, it kind of, it was like, man, they made us like, I don't know, like secondhand citizens. So, it was, like it was like a Crip movie, and the Mexicans. And for us, in South LA, it didn't go like that, where the black and the Mexicans, were getting at a Mexican gang. The blacks and Mexicans together Bloods or Crips, we get at the Bloods and Crips, but not at, we not going against the Harpies or the 18th Streets or nothing like that. You know what I mean? White fence or nothing like that. But so it was kind of not a real, you know, take on South LA, but it might have been for Pacoima, might have been for Sylmar, might have been for, Frogtown or Dogtown, East LA or something, or even the Matavillas, but not for South LA.
You mentioned it being an inspiration, the movie.
Yeah.
What do you mean by inspiration? Like
inspiration to bang. It did not. To be honest, it glorified it. It glorified it. It means that there's an outlet. It meant that someone was looking and watching and want to see how we interact with each other.